This is session number 8 for our LISP chapter. We're going to talk about how Cisco has modified LISP for its fabric solution. Remember that LISP is an standard protocol, but Cisco has modified it in order to make it work with its fabric product. First of all, within the Cisco fabric, we are not going to refer to this combination of map server and map resolver as that. We are going to call this combination the control plane node. Within the Cisco fabric, the control plane node is going to answer directly to map requests. Remember that with traditional LISP, the map resolver will forward map requests to ETRs. Within the Cisco fabric, the control plane node is not going to do that. Also, we are not going to refer to the LISP database as the mapping database or the site registration table. We are going to call it the host tracking database. This is an important point to remember. Now, with the traditional LISP definition, we could use whatever underlay protocol that we wanted to. For instance, we could use OSPF, EIGRP, or any other. But for the Cisco Fabric product, we're going to use ISIS. And remember that with the traditional LISP protocol, we could have some routers within the core that were not performing any LISP role, but however, they were part of the core because they were moving traffic. They were executing the underlay IP protocol. In the case of the Cisco Fabric, we are going to call these devices intermediate nodes. So these core routers that were not performing any particular LISP role, but however they will be moving traffic, are now called intermediate nodes. PXDRs become border nodes. XDRs become edge nodes. And an important note here, remember that we are talking about how Cisco is using LISP for the local area network. So we are not using routers, we are using layer 3 switches. More specifically, Catalyst 9000 series layer 3 switches. And now these XDRs are no longer called XDRs, these are edge nodes. We are going to no longer be connected local area networks to a carrier network. We are now be connecting end user devices to a local area network. And regarding EIDs, for the Cisco Fabric, we are not going to use EIDs to identify large local area networks. We are going to use EIDs to identify individual devices. We are going to use EIDs to identify a desktop, a laptop, a server, a printer, a phone. So we can identify end user devices as EIDs with IPv4 addresses, IPv6 addresses, or MAC addresses. We are not going to use LISP tunnels. LISP is going to be there only to perform control plane activities. The actual protocol that is going to move traffic and create tunnels on the fly will be VXLAN. So we are going to disable the LISP tunneling behavior. So let's summarize what we saw with a diagram. We are showing here how LISP was defined originally as a standard for wide area network environments for carrier networks. In this original approach, LISP uses routers. So we have our CPEs here that are XDRs. We have our PEs that are just routers that belong to the core network that are not specifically running any LISP role, but they are just moving traffic. They are executing an underlay protocol. We had map servers and map resolvers and PXDRs. Now, Cisco has changed LISP in order to run within a local area network environment for enterprise networks. In this sense, XDRs now become edge nodes. These particular core routers become intermediate nodes. PXDRs become border nodes. The combination of a map server and map resolver now are called control plane nodes. EIDs no longer identify large local area networks. EIDs now identify particular end-user devices such as laptops, desktops, mobile devices, phones. We are not going to use routers. We are going to use layer 3 switches, particularly or more specifically, we are talking about Catalyst 9000s, layer 3 switches. We are not going to refer to the LISP database as the mapping database or the site registration table. We are going to call this the host tracking database. The tunneling is not going to be performed by LISP in order to move traffic. We are going to use VXLAN here in order to move traffic with tunnels. And another big detail is that Cisco has changed the LISP header. It has changed or performed little changes to some fields within the LISP header, mainly flags. So just be aware of that. That's it.